as well as we welcome in Frank Leboeuf. Craig, we're going to talk about Real Madrid a lot, obviously, and what's happened. But let's focus, shall we, on this tie over the two legs where Arsenal were superior in every way.
Every department, without a recognised striker. Moreno's done a good job. We talked about the wide players being a big threat. Bukayo Saka coming back from injury and Martinelli. We talked about Real Madrid's weak points. There are many, but certainly two of them are the full-back areas, so they get exploited there. They got exploited in the middle of the park over the two legs, and that's another weak point for Real Madrid. And Arsenal, we know they're strong in there. Partey, who's going to be missing, you mentioned it. Declan Rice, who would walk into this Real Madrid side, by the way, and Martin Odegaard, who used to be at Madrid as a youngster and is now pulling the strings for Arsenal. The one downside was the Saliba mistake to the night. It didn't alter anything. I don't think David Raya, and this is modern football, you use your brains, you're 3-0 up or whatever, and you go 4-0, it's dead. I don't roll it out to the box. We just squeeze up, don't give them anything. Considering how Arsenal have played this season at times in the Premier League, they turned up big time in the quarter-final, and Real Madrid did not.
Yeah, and in both legs as well, because we talked about how if you want to take it to Real Madrid, now is the time to do it, and Arsenal did that despite all the noise and look at the welcome and the bus is getting and remontada talk. Arsenal didn't let that affect them at all.
No, they beat Real Madrid with two things that Real Madrid simply do not have and haven't had the whole season: structure and organization. Quality of play through all your lines, because up until the Saliba mistake today, you also have to say that defensively, Arsenal were excellent in denying opportunities to Mbappe, denying opportunities to Vinicius, denying opportunities to Bellingham, denying opportunities to Rodrigo. In fact, you would have to ask, were those guys even out on the field? And I think that's the credit of Arsenal in how good they were in terms of their organization and their structure. And then today they show something that I don't know whether we're too sure that Arsenal actually had coming into this round of games against Real Madrid, and that is personality, character. Yeah, we're going into Madrid, but they didn't just sit back. When there were opportunities to get out in transition, they did so. When there were opportunities to keep the ball, they tried to do so as well. It wasn't as if we're afraid of the history, we're afraid of the magic, we're going to take a step back. No. They took a step forward when they needed to. Very disciplined, very mature, very professional performance from Arsenal. I thought over the two legs, they were far superior to Real Madrid, but especially and particularly when it comes to organization and structure.
They've given Real Madrid a drubbing over two legs. And if we're being honest, but for Thibaut Courtois in two games, this could have been easily 7 or 8. Easily. And I think that tells you where Real Madrid are at this moment in time. And once again, he was there, as you were saying during the game, he was easily their best player again.
Before we get to Real Madrid, word on Arsenal, who in particular caught the eye for you over these two legs, Frank?
But there is only one guy for me. I mean, we are all happy to see Saka's back, but Declan Rice was the man of the two legs. I mean, the work that he did today, how he worked, I love those guys. We used to call them water carriers player because you don't see them. They're in the shadow and they work for the others. But over the two legs, he showed his talent, his skills. We were scoring the 2 free kicks, but also today, handling the middle of the park like a masterpiece. He did everything perfect. Even Kylian Mbappe was upset with him, tried to get the ball, got injured. But he was there. He was also working with these partners, as a leader, saying, calm down. Was upset against Thomas Partey. That guy showed to the world that he's one of the best, as we called before, number 6 in the world, for sure.
Yeah, Declan Rice, of course, costs 100 million. It's not like that he came to Arsenal cheap. But in days like today, goodness me, you're getting your money's worth.
Well, I mean, his general all-round performance is usually very good. He had 2 free kicks that you're probably never going to score again in the first leg. But he's got a bit of everything, Declan Rice, hasn't he? I mean, he's not the greatest passer, but he can pass it. He works hard. He's a bit like Valverde in a sense, if he can cover all the ground, gets up and down, will score some goals, will get back and tackle. Just a dynamic, modern-day midfielder. And over the two legs, he was superb.
Well, I don't think it's an exaggeration to sit back and say, if you're Carlo Ancelotti or Real Madrid fan, it's like, I wish we had that guy playing in the midfield for us. because far better than Camavinga in the first leg, far better than Tchouaméni in the second leg, far better than any midfielder that Real Madrid showcased. And today Valverde was in the midfield. He was playing as a right back in the first leg. That didn't quite work out, but it's just too much space for him to cover. And Declan Rice would be ideal for Real Madrid because they lack athleticism and quality on the ball when it comes to that area of the field. They don't have enough numbers, and Declan Rice exposed that, along with Odegaard and Partey.
And they've come into this game, I mentioned it, without a recognised striker, with Bukayo Saka coming back off, 3 months? 4 months of a hamstring?
Makeshift back four.
With a makeshift back four, with Kivior coming in, who, was going to be the weak link, and he had a bad 10 minutes or so at the Emirates, but apart from that, he partnered William Saliba pretty well. And Arsenal have stepped up. They've stepped up and actually shown that, they're in the semi-final, but they could win it.
Yeah.
I know they've never won this competition before, but they are if they believe in it, they are strong enough to win this competition.
Frank, we were sat here yesterday looking ahead to the game, and everyone thought, look, it's Real Madrid, they're going to put up a fight. They might not get enough goals, but we think they're going to beat Arsenal, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be tight on the night. What happened? There was nothing today.
Well, two things. I think Arsenal were stronger, simply stronger, and handled the craziness of Real Madrid at the beginning of the game, let's say. But they knew, and Ali did it in the way that they knew exactly what to do because they were organized, they were structures. In contrary with Real Madrid. Real Madrid tried to put, some aggressiveness, and we saw Alaba getting a yellow card very quickly. Of course, Rudiger trying some tricks and everything, but there was nothing from Real Madrid in terms of thoughts, organization, and what we can do to overcome and try to beat Arsenal. There was, I think, in the second half, they had Real Madrid had a corner kick. Nobody came back. There were 8 strikers. With 2 defenders, I think it was Valverde and Vasquez, but nobody came back in the middle of the park. They didn't care. They only wanted to score a goal like games from a 10 years old team. That was insane, and that's what I saw. That I saw a team capable of doing something because you have a star. We can do something different. The 4 magics, as we call them, but there is nothing. Structure like the Gunners had today, knowing that we are strong enough because we are a team. We play all together, we work together, we defend and attack together. That was the main difference between the two teams.
We wondered if we were going to get this Galactico 20 minutes, half an hour, all guns blazing. And if we're being honest, they were hopeless.
But everyone was.
Yeah,
Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Bellingham.
But I'm looking, that's the big stars I'm looking at. Bellingham, charging around, frustrated, bashing people, being clumsy in challenges but not doing anything. Vinicius Junior, mumping on about Ballon d'Ors and so forth, and his mate Rodrigo crying because his mate never won it. And then you've got the guy who's had a disgraceful week, Kylian Mbappe, with that challenge. And he was useless. He was, he made absolutely no difference whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. They got nothing from the big stars. Up until the mistake from William Saliba, it was one of the easiest nights, really, if we're being honest, that David Raya has had. He may need to make a couple of soft saves, but he wasn't peppered. And quite frankly, this era of...
You said, it was interesting, I think it was 20 minutes ago, you said, has anyone told Real Madrid they're 3 down?
What happened? It was Arsenal that was pushing.
Where is that spark? Where is that drive that we associate with this team in the Champions League?
I think it's got to a stage they're all looking around at each other and saying, who's going to do it?
Right.
They're not doing it as a unit. They're not squeezing and then the midfield goes and then the forwards push. They're doing it as individuals and they're all sort of looking around. Who's going to do it for us? Who's going to change the game? And is it a piece of brilliance? That's what it's been from Real Madrid. It's rarely been structured. It's been a piece of individual brilliance. And for that reason, because they're so off the cuff, that's when they lose the ball, you see so many gaps appearing in the middle of the park. And I know they lost Toni Kroos, and I know they lost, Karim Benzema before, and all this sort of thing. But they should be better than this. And you have to say, as much credit as he's had over the years, a lot of this falls on the shoulder of the manager.
Yeah, he's gone. I think no matter what happens now, Carlo Ancelotti will never manage the Champions League at Real Madrid again.
Well, and it's taken absolutely nothing away from Ancelotti, who's been amazing as a coach. But he's had the whole season to figure this out. It's been happening since match day one. Where was it? Las Palmas? Or Mallorca?
Yeah.
Mallorca, match day one, or whatever it was. We sat back and went, that wasn't very good. Next week will be better. It wasn't. Next week will be better. No, he's going to figure it out. He will figure this out because he's too good a manager. He has not figured it out. And we're seeing it in La Liga. It's still sort of hanging, but we definitely saw it again tonight.
And we've seen it against all the big teams. Barcelona, obviously, twice. We saw Atletico Madrid outplay them in the two legs in the round leading up to this. Liverpool won, Milan won. Whenever they're up against a team that have got some quality and are organised and are structured, Real Madrid don't have a clue.
The common thread of all these remontadas that we were talking about yesterday, that were on, I believe it was on Marca, and they had all this history of the times in which Real Madrid has been able to come back. Yeah, there is some magic there. Yeah, there is some mystical powers. Yeah, there is some history as well. But you know what there was as well? Quality. Quality of play. High level of performance. And we have been watching Real Madrid every single weekend, waiting and hoping to see that quality that on paper seems to be there, but on the field it has not been displayed with any sort of consistency. Why do I bring all of this up? You just mentioned, any time that they play against a really good team, or a team that's organized, or a team that's structured, or a team that has talent that can match the qualities of Real Madrid, they get destroyed. And it's not even as if these matches are close. All you have to do is watch when they play Barcelona this season. It hasn't been close. It wasn't close against Liverpool. It wasn't close against Arsenal. It hasn't been close because those teams can match some of the quality, yes, and they also have the added, I can't believe I'm saying the added factor, because you would imagine that a team like Real Madrid would have this structure, organization. They're broken. We said that last week, and it continues to be the case. They are broken and have been broken, and to the point of Carlo Ancelotti, at some point during this season, he made a decision. It must have been a decision with his coaching staff, his son. He must have made a decision and said, you know what? We're just going to let him play. And whatever happens, happens. And that is the worst mistake that he could have made, because this team was never a team.
I think there is a statement to make after having seen Paris Saint-Germain with Neymar, Messi and Mbappe not doing anything in the Champions League, no working together, no organization, no structure. We just wait for the stars to make the difference. And this season with Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior and Mbappe, we see exactly the same thing. So the statement to make is, when you have a superstar, it's already complicated. When you have two, it's becoming impossible. And when you have three, it's even worse. That's what it is. That's really what it is in the modern world. I mean, you're comparing to Arsenal what we have seen, comparing to Inter Milan, how they work together, Paris Saint-Germain this season, comparing to last season, and also Liverpool. All those teams who work together because you don't have a mega star, who disturbs, in a way, the organization that you need to work and to be able to get something out of it. It's complicated. The world of football is complicated nowadays. We can see Manchester City, best team in the world, boom, bye-bye, in one season, in 6 months. Same thing for Real Madrid. There are things are changing nowadays, and you have to make sure you are able to cope with the situation. Neither Guardiola nor Ancelotti were able to cope with the situation. We are talking about the two best coaches in the world. Coaches.
I just want to move on to Kylian Mbappe.